Taking a kick from Tawanchai is like getting hit with a sledgehammer. Based on recent history, if you try to block his kick, there's a very real chance that your bones will break under the pressure. And the scariest thing about Tawanchai isn't that he's shattered limbs, it's that he does it with the cool, calm demeanor of an international hitman. For him, it's just like another day at the office. And it kind of is, because Tawanchai has been doing this his entire life. He started the sport at 7 years old and quickly took to the art of 8 limbs, making his Lumpini Stadium debut at only 14. Now, as of this video, the 24-year-old holds 130 wins across his decade-long career, recently capturing the featherweight 1 Muay Thai belt. With his devastating power, pinpoint accuracy, and ice-cold swagger, it doesn't seem like this pound-for-pound talent is slowing down anytime soon. Of course, underneath his debilitating strikes lie a foundation of high-level tools and tactics, gained from years of hard and patient practice. Let's first look at the very basics, the building blocks of his style. Then, we'll dive deeper into the hidden nuances that are easy to miss while you're too busy being amazed by his highlight reel KOs. Tawanchai's most lethal weapon is his roundhouse kick. It hits like a Louisville slugger, and he builds the rest of his entire style around it. Because of this, he prefers to fight at long to mid-range, so as to always have the perfect amount of space to unleash his monstrous attack at a moment's notice. Like Krokop and many kicking greats, he uses the classic strategy of one-shotting at 3 different targets: head, body, and legs. This serves like a dangerous game of 3-card Monty, but choosing the wrong defense won't just cost them money, it could cost them their consciousness. Suddenly bursting into teeps or crosses give opponents even more to worry about. As they anticipate the roundhouse, they open up the middle of their guard and create an avenue for straight shots. Like the great Samart, Tawanchai's teep looks like it's halfway to being a sidekick. By turning his hips at the last moment, he can increase his range and his power. He'll even complicate matters for his competitor by turning his foot outside, like a built-in feint for his tremendous roundhouse. Once his kick lands, blocked or not, Tawanchai can dive in with punches. The Thai phenom is phenomenal at throwing punches off the retraction of his kicks. This isn't only an excellent timing change, it also catches opponents in the middle of trying to counter, which is almost a requirement when you commit as hard as he does to his roundhouse. Opponents will take the opportunity to try and throw back. As such, he has fantastic defensive instincts, both while throwing and retracting his kicks. He can expertly slip punches while kicking, even throwing in a counter afterwards. Or he could parry the punches away during the retraction of his kick. The way that he stays balanced during and after such dynamic exchanges is insanely impressive. It's not like opponents don't do their very best to stay out of Tawanchai's kicking range, either by moving in close to clinch and smother, or by backing away. Tawanchai not only has an answer for opponents attempting to take him out of his preferred range, he punishes them for even trying. And unfortunately for them, the punishments are incredibly harsh. Let's first look at what happens when opponents try to close the gap. Usually Tawanchai will use a piece of footwork called an L-step to quickly change the angle if an opponent is in hot pursuit. This fast footwork maneuver lets him do his best Ernesto Hoost impression, making opponents walk into kicks to the leg, body, and even head. He'll also use the L-step to line up a hard cross. Or, instead of an L-step to play with angles, Tawanchai will instead sometimes use a timing trick. He'll break his rhythm, halting his retreat to stop short or rebound forward off beat, driving opponents into an unexpected attack. For this maneuver, he'll break out aggressive teeps and teeth-rattling punch combinations. Another popular option is to catch kicks, pulling opponents into combinations. After all, if you hope to dominate in one area of the fight, the last thing you want is your opponent competing with you there. Notice how he expertly throws his opponent's legs sideways to force them out of position. Alternatively, he'll let over-eager foes rush into the clinch, often using their momentum for a sweep. Now let's look at the other situation, when an opponent tries to escape from the onslaught by backpedaling. Tawanchai will of course follow opponents as they try to move away, attacking with the tried and true blitz. The problem with the straightforward blitz has always been that the time it takes to properly throw each attack gives the opponents time to retreat or change angles. So, Tawanchai will use feints with built-in distance closing footwork instead. Only pretending to wind up for a big shot. And while his opponent is busy defending phantom strikes, Tawanchai is closing in for the real deal. A feinted kick can turn into a shift or skip forward. He'll use forward dynamics similar to a Superman punch to set up full power fireworks. Alright, this one's for the advanced students. Let's look at how Tawanchai sets up his kicks for maximum power, speed, and trajectory. Most great kickers are split pretty evenly on what to do with their front foot while kicking. Some will simply pivot as they kick. Others will step out first. Tawanchai does the latter, but he doesn't just step into the front foot turn, he leaps into it. This is the same split step concept from our last breakdown of Sugar Ray Leonard, but with a Muay Thai twist. This covert split step and foot pivot allows him to set up his kick the same way he would if he were stepping out. But that's not the impressive part. This is simply a shortcut that he could build right into the rest of his footwork to save time and attack off rhythm. It makes his kicks so much more effective by disguising them. Let's look at how. Here Tawanchai cross steps with his lead foot, and then, rather than stepping through with the rear leg to complete the sequence, he instead split steps and turns his foot out to launch into a roundhouse. This same off-rhythm shortcut works well for teeps too, offering a ton of stopping power. Or he can use it while stepping down off of checking. It's these small shortcuts that make or break fights. Even as he's throwing punches, you can see the micro steps, setting his feet up for the next kick. Or notice how he'll use the last second hop during the extension of his kick to create the right distance. These are the nuances of a next level fighter like Tawanchai. Tawanchai is set for a long anticipated battle against a fellow combat sports superstar, Super Vaughn, on December 22nd. And with Tawanchai's Muay Thai title on the line, I have a feeling the battle that ensues will no doubt become one of the greatest spectacles of the year. I've left a link to the info below. From the Modern Martial Artist, this has been David Christian, wishing you happy training.